Hey everybody. So this, I've got a couple more pictures of this St. Joseph Cathedral for you. And there's just a couple of pictures here, but I actually like these and I'll probably talk about them when I go over this eye and the triangle symbolism. There's actually some really cool stuff here that the average person won't catch. And the deal is that you notice that there you have a triangle right here, and that triangle seems as though it probably matches the slopes of the pyramid. Unfortunately, in these pictures that were taken here, they are taken from the ground with the camera pointing up towards the ceiling. So of course that's going to scrunch the triangle to a slope that's not going to necessarily match anymore. So rather than trying to mess with it, I just want to let you know that more than likely, since it's in the same church and since we saw the other one the same way, it's probably matching, especially since we see at the very top here, this is called God the Father symbolism, which we'll talk about also in the next one. But this is the thing I want to show you. It's pretty neat about this. What they're actually kind of showing here in this is is kind of like in Jewish mysticism, in the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah tree of life is not some people kind of get standoffish about this, because it's the Kabbalah tree of life's got so much stuff and so many symbols and Hebrew letters and all this kind of stuff integrated onto it. It makes the average person kind of step back and go, whoa, what the hell is all this? But it's actually all done for a specific reason. And as you start messing with this kind of symbolism type of thinking yourself, you can see the value in the way they do things. What they're actually showing is an emanation. God is an emanation. And when we say God, take away your normal mainstream understanding of that and think of it as a macrocosm version of yourself, a larger version of yourself. And this is kind of what it is. Well, this emanation that occurs, and this is what I kind of like about this thing real quick, that's what that top of the pyramid is. You see how you have this dove up here, and he sits at the very, very, very tip of the top of the pyramid. And that's what emanation means. It emanates, and from that point, which is right here, it emanates. And so we kind of see Spirit and God the Father together. And I want to show you something else also. Notice those two lines right here. But since this was taken at an angle, we can't really check it. But as I said before, since these are in the same cathedral, more than likely this is the same angles right here. We just I'm not going to mess with it. There's really only a value in doing it if I don't have to mess with it at all. So, but since we've already seen the other one and it's straight on, we're okay. But here's the neat thing about all this symbolism, especially this area up here. And this is the kind of, and I want you to know, we've already taken a look at that black hole inside the Orion Nebula, right? And we saw the symbolism associated to it. And so when we see symbolism like this, whether it's on purpose or whether it's from the unconscious or whatever, we instantly, when we become familiar with these symbols and so forth, we instantly see the correlations. For example, this is kind of the way stuff is hidden in art. First of all, let's take a look here, because down here, the king's chamber, as you can see, is right where the brow is. It's located where the pineal gland is, right here. And on all these God the Father symbols, which is you always have God with his head in a triangle like this. I did a lot of searching on that tonight and found that I had no idea there was so much of it out there, and they always seem to look like the slopes are similar to the pyramids. I tested a couple of them. Some of them are not exactly that. Most of them seem to have that same kind of slope going on, but I downloaded so many I couldn't obviously test that many. But this is very significant here, and it proves something that I found previously in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs as well. Because what this shows us is because the Neoplatonic Alexandrian mystics, just like Manly Hall said that the pyramid was the tomb of Hermes, not a tomb for a dead pharaoh, a tomb for Hermes, which basically consists of a symbol of universal mind. And it is, because it has all of these characteristics that it shows kind of a fractal nature of man as he gets larger and smaller. For example, this subchamber here, Queen's Chamber and the King's Chamber, the way that the spine is from the sacrum to the pineal gland would represent this area, but we can also see that this person's head is inside of it. And so what we have is a kind of a fractal situation where we have a smaller guy inside of a larger head. And this is also what we see in the when we read the Zohar and things like that, where it says that they would meet eye to eye, that the superior eye or the macro eye would bathe the inferior eye with manus, right? That's that bread from heaven, that intellect, that creativity, intuitive enlightenment that happens from the macro version. And so we see this written in the Zohar, but we also see it in this. And because I saw this, I was able to confirm with these angles, along with what I was seeing in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, that the pyramid actually is supposed to be used this way, to put the body on top of it. And also Egypt itself and the way that it is laid out. There's actually a fractal on Earth that starts in the center of the center of the Nile Delta, and it expands out, just like we see in the Orion Nebula, where it starts in that trapezium and expands out into a brain. And we can actually see, when we put the golden spiral on top of it, that at each swirl of the spiral, you'll see a fractal, and you can check the quadrants. And I'll show you that. I'll show you that another time. I want to show you this up here. We saw the black hole in the center of that trapezium area. And so what the artist has done here, we know that these 2 points, being the lines that move to the King's Chamber, look at what you have on top of his head. You have a swirl that looks just like it's supposed to represent some kind of a black hole or something, and it's placed right where the King's Chamber would be. I also want you to notice the bird's body. The bird's body is shaped like it's like a pine cone, basically, the holy dove or the spirit. And spirit emanates from this very top area right here. And that's the way that things work. We have spirit hovering above the waters, and then bam, it uses the word, and the word, as described by Hermes, is actually a pillar that he uses to hammer out caverns in space. We'll go over that in our next one, which is actually black holes. At that point, when the black hole is created, we have the first light, and that first light that's created is this triangle that we see right here. So there's an emanation that occurs, and I particularly like this this right here, because it kind of shows Spirit, the Father, and the Son all in this pyramid, and it kind of shows this little hierarchy thing going on. and where the point of emanation occurs. And we can look at the Kabbalah tree of life and we can see the same type of thing when we look at it. There is a triangle at the very top of the Kabbalah tree of life. It's the Trinity, and it is Kether, which sits at the very top, and then you have Chokmah and Bina, which is at the very top. And Manly Hall even goes into the fact that that represents the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and that's probably going to be over your head at this point because it represents kind of an understanding of mind and how mind emanates into the universe. So anyways, we'll go over that next time. I wanted to show you this interesting symbolism right here, show you that there's an instance of them trying to do this, showing the same thing, but since we can obviously see that the camera is pointed upwards, it scrunches the triangle to where it's not even really worth it to do that. But you can see the black hole right on his head, right in the very center where the king's chamber is. And also you'll notice that where his head is located on the triangle, and notice where the head is located right here on this, and where the base of his skull is actually sitting is on the bottom of the pyramid. And all of these types of things that we find are clues into helping us uncover the mysteries a little bit more. And it's really a lot of fun once you start doing it. It's like this huge adventure game, putting the jigsaw puzzle pieces together. And when you find things, that the best part about it and the most exciting thing about it all is when you if you can actually go out into nature and find the things and then come back, and then when you see it and you know that you've actually seen it in nature, and you know nature doesn't lie, then you go, okay, this is truth. Because when you start seeing a lot of repetitivity happening where the symbolism that you're seeing is confirmed in nature and it keeps confirming itself over and over, you know you've hit truth. And it's not a truth that any man or any organization or anyone had to tell you. It's a truth that nature told you. And nature doesn't lie. And you start seeing how man is really important in all this. The pieces of his body, the metaphysical meanings, how things fit together in reality and everything. And it really becomes a very fun adventure game if you get into that kind of thing. Anyways, I want to show you this next one here, and next time we'll go over that eye in the triangle symbolism. You guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.